Welcome classic rock fans to one of my 10 of the best, and today I'm looking at the 10 best drummers. Of course this is just the opinion and these are mine, whether you agree with them or not. I'd certainly be interested in hearing yours in terms of who should make the list. Please leave your opinions downstairs. And while you're at it, check out some of the links for ways you can support this channel. And you can support this channel right away by clicking like, subscribe and checking that notification bell. So I did a video recently on The Who and Led Zeppelin, and we were talking about John Bonham and Keith Moon, and a few people have asked me by one means or another, who are the best drummers? So I had a good mull over it, and I've compiled a list of the 10 guys that I think are worth mentioning. So number 10 is Richie Hayward. He was known for playing with little feet. A hallmark of Richie Hayward's style is very much in his feel for the music. You can hear that New Orleans influence, especially in the shuffles and the rhythms, the rhythmic lines he establishes, those second line rhythms. Check out Time Loves a Hero. The groove is absolutely perfect on that one. The counter time, so he plays his counter time on a bell. And Dixie Chicken, check out that one as well. It was described by one critic as a song that establishes a groove so deep fried that it practically falls off the edge of the bar line. Number 9 is a fairly predictable choice for me, and that is Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, of course. Nick Mason's drumming style is so musical and so languid and spatial, the way he interprets what's happening within this band. He is very much instrumental in the way Pink Floyd sound, to me, as much as those ethereal, soaring guitar solos of David Gilmour. One thing I really love about listening to early Floyd, especially something like Atom Heart Mother or Echoes, you watch Up Pompeii, it's just his feel and timing is just absolutely perfect, I think. Number 8 is a chap named Steve Gadd. Now, Steve Gadd is absolutely a sensational drummer, and he makes every record he plays on, he makes better simply by the fact he plays on it. In fact, British jazz drummer Pete Fairclough has said that Steve Gadd does not just play the groove, he digs a trench. His style is very much not about showboating or platforming himself, but about making the music better. And listen to the way he plays on Paul Simon's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That heady, brain-bending syncopation of his is just absolutely wonderful. Number 7 is Mitch Mitchell from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, another drummer who I feel has had quite a lot of jazz influences there. I think we're beginning to recognise a pattern here. But he fuses these jazz influences with rock, and we get this perfect symbiosis of what he does and what the rest of the band do as well. He allows him space to roam, so to speak. I mean, his rhythmic sense is perfectly suited to the music with his rolls and fills, which complement, and I would even go so far as to say inspire, Jimi Hendrix. Number 6 on my list is Billy Cobham. I mean, most people know him from playing with the Mahavishnu Orchestra. He's renowned for playing a huge kit with these 2 big bass drums. But it's certainly in the style like that. Those gigs with the Inner Flame and the Mahavishnu Orchestra were done on a much smaller single bass kit. I have to say that this guy had it all. I mean, he's an incredible aggressive drumming style as well, especially with those 2 bass drums. But he's also virtuosic, and his technique is just, he just nails it every time. Number 5 is a chap named Gene Krupa. His energy and charisma propelled him very much into the limelight. He was certainly a marquee star from the 1930s onwards, and even the subject of a major biopic, The Gene Krupa Story. But he played with such precision, and he knew exactly what to play and what not to play. To me, great drumming is very much about that. Great anything, even guitar players, it's all about the music, and sometimes that calls for restraint. Some people describe his life as an emotional psychodrama with drumming at the very centre. Number 4 has to go to Earl Palmer, who is the architect of rock and roll. Palmer's drumming was the pulse and the backbeat of those early rock and roll records, especially Little Richard, Fats Domino, of course. Many people know him for his playing on the Righteous Brothers' You've Lost That Loving Feeling. But again, there's another one whose playing style is drawn from New Orleans, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He had a musicality in the swing of jazz, but he was just absolutely perfect for the burgeoning rock and roll scene. He added a certain groove, energy and solidity to those early records. And number 3 is Ginger Baker, another drummer that draws heavily upon jazz influences. He had that swing that certainly helped him define the Cream sound, kind of a grace and groove to the way he played. But he could certainly power through as well. He was an incredibly versatile drummer and a huge influence on the burgeoning heavy metal scene. You know, he's a huge influence, I think, on John Bonham and certainly on Neil Peart. I mean, Cream's psychedelic blues would have just been missing that vital element without Ginger Baker, who even brought African rhythms to the table. Number 2 is one of my favourite drummers. It's Keith Moon from The Who, of course. Technically, he may not be as good as some of the guys I've mentioned, but it's just his flamboyance and energy. He's just, he brings a whole new level of theatre to rock and roll. No wonder The Who played the way they did or sounded the way they did with that frenetic drum style. And John Entwistle's bass as well. It's probably hard to find any kind of space to interject yourself. And I think that's what The Who these days is missing. There seems to be something intrinsically missing from their sound. Well, you would argue, well, of course there is. John Entwistle's not there, neither is Keith Moon. But Keith Moon is number 2 on my list simply for his wow factor. My favourite drummer, number 1, is Neil Peart, who we sadly lost a few years ago, the Professor. I mean, it's his proficiency and technicality which is absolutely staggering. Hugely influenced by people like Ginger Baker and those people as well. He's often cited these people as being an influence on him. But his technical excellence and the complexity with which he played was just absolutely remarkable. His drum solos were not so much flamboyant, but they were precise, exact, and even bordering on otherworldly at times. He was just absolutely remarkable. So anyway, that's off the top of my head, that's my 10 favourite drummers who I would list as people who stand out for me. Other drummers that could easily make the list as being incredible. I mean, John Bonham should really be there. Ian Pace is another undersung drummer who should make the list. And probably a few more as well if I sat down and thought about it for any decent length of time. Anyway, thank you so much for putting this question to me. I'd be interested to know what you think of my list, and I'd be interested in hear what your list is, which would be your 10 favourite drummers of all time and why. Anyway, you've been watching 10 of the Best by Classic Album Review. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do check out some of these cards that hopefully might be appearing up there. But other than that, I hope you stay well and safe and warm and COVID-free. But more important than any of those things is that you keep listening